How's it going, people? Salmon Slapper here, and this is, I suppose, a kind of guide. Basically it's kind of like a daily run guide. Not really sure what to call it, but let's go with daily run. Basically, as soon as you log in, it's a bunch of stuff you can do every single day, and you can make some money from it, depending on how much time you spend and whether or not you've got all the stats and stuff. You can actually go ahead and do this and make a bit of profit for nothing, pretty much. So if you're not for boss killing, or you don't fancy it and you just want to do something for a change, you can always do this. And you don't need to do it all. So basically what I've got in my inventory is a juju farming pot, 5 herb seeds, the farming patch run teleports, so the Ardy cloak, the ectophile, and the lumpy ring. I've also got more Morchella mushroom seed, a later telly, a juju farming telly, a trollime telly, and a ferroceptor. Well, starting off, we're going to be doing our nice little farm run, so straight into the fairy ring, straight over to Canopus, and sort out the Morchella mushrooms. Now, there's quite a few things in here where you need quite a lot of requirements, and it's going to vary person to person, so I'm not going to list them all, because you don't have to do every single one of these to make a profit, to be totally honest. You can only do a couple, and you'll make a profit anyway. It just won't be as great, and depending on how much time you spend, depends on how big the profit will be, obviously. First things first, getting these Morchellas, you'll need a certain farming level, and if you've done the Mauritania tasks as well, you'll actually gain 18, and you won't need to bother with chucking in compost because they won't get diseased. So that's going to vary straight there. Either way, once you've done those, head on back over to Edgeville. And our next task is we're going to be running through and picking up every single one of our coconuts. So ideally this would either be you've already planted palm trees in every single fruit patch, or they just happen to, you've got them there while you're leveling, or you've finished leveling farming and you just don't need them anymore, so you just leave palm trees in all your fruit patches. The reason for this, quite simply, coconuts are like 3 something K a pop, and they'll always sell because they're required to look after, I think it's the mage trees, for everyone power leveling farming. So they'll always sell, and it's quite easy to get lots of them. Nice little note here, which I'm not doing on screen because this is kind of spur of the moment, is if you actually get a, I think it's an ent, it's a summoning familiar is, it's the walking tree, pretty sure it's called an ent. You get that, and as long as you've got that out while you're picking coconuts, you'll actually gain extra coconuts. So instead of gaining 30 for 6 trees, you could gain up to 60, which is actually pretty awesome, and I'd highly recommend bringing it along if you are going to do it. But this is just showing you my typical run. Although I've added quite a few things in here just to cover kind of almost everything you could do in a daily run, and altogether this took me about an hour for the entire run. Although the video is 30 minutes long, I have kind of cut parts out where it's literally just mining. No one wants to see mining, let's be honest. Right, first thing, kind of forgot to mention, once you've done your Morchellas, you head back to Edgeville, jump into the teleport tree and head on over to the gnome village. Do your coconut tree over here, then back to the giant tree teleport thing. I can't even remember what it's called, oh my god. Spirit tree, that's it. And then straight up to Tree Gnome Stronghold. And exactly the same thing again, you do your coconut here. So without the ent, you'll gain 6 coconuts every single time as long as it's fully grown. It takes a few hours for them to actually regrow, well, to fully regrow I should say. So you can actually do this multiple times in a day, which is actually kind of good, especially if you pair it up with a bit of a herb run. Well, next you want to head over to Cavalry, and you're picking up the coconuts there. It's literally right next to where everyone normally used to go fishing. Now the requirements for these, quite obviously, you're going to be needing the farming level to actually plant palm trees. But additionally, to get around a bit quicker, you'll also want at least up to Morn's End Part 1, so you can use the later crystal telly. Also the quests required to teleport with the spirit trees. And you need, I think it's Edgar's Rouge for a trollime teleport. You also need My Arm's Big Adventure to actually gain access to the trollime herb patch. So yeah, a few requirements. So after you've done the Catherby, head on over to later, or Sletia, whichever you want to call it. And finish up these coconuts. And next on the list is the Juju farming spot, which is herbal habitat. Just kind of showing you that you can come down here, you can plant a coconut tree down here. I haven't actually done it myself because, well, I chucked in an orange tree while I was doing my 99 Hunter and I haven't really bothered with it since. So yeah, you can chuck in a nice little palm tree here and that'll be an extra bunch of coconuts you can get per day or every couple of hours depending on which way you want to do it. So straight after this you want to head over to Karamja, or Brimhaven, either way, and you want to do the final coconut tree. So pretty straightforward, it's exactly north of the home point. And that is the coconuts complete pretty much. So at this point you'd have a bunch of more cello mushrooms, you'd have a bunch of coconuts. Next on the list, as I'm sure you've probably already guessed, is the Herbal run. Big advantage of the Herbal run is if you have the hunting level as well as the Herbal level, I think you need the Herbal level for it, is making the Juju farming pots. And the main reason for that is quite simply it gets you quite a few extra herbs and it's well worth it. If you combine that with a farming aura, that'll improve your herb run again. So even if you're not doing these big ass daily runs for whatever, but you're still doing your herb runs, I would definitely recommend spending some loyalty points and getting the farming aura, because it does improve your crop yield by quite a lot. You can end up walking away with 20, 30 per actual herb field, which is pretty massive, let's be honest. So you do one farm run, you gain 100 herbs. Nice. Or 100 plus, I should say. So either way, once you're here, head on up to the herb patch. If you've done Edgar's Rouge, you know where it is. It's where you killed the final boss. Not Edgar's Rouge, My Arm's Big Adventure, sorry. Or My Arm's Big Adventure, either way. So once you're here, talk to the leprechaun, grab yourself some magic secateurs. I'll take you some fairy tales to complete, and you'll also want 5 super composts. So chuck on your secateurs, chuck on your juju pot, chuck on your aura if you brought it, and go ahead and pick all your herbs. Typical farm run, nothing major, nice and easy. You're gonna get seeds when you just go around killing, whether it's bosses, slayer tasks, or whatever else. In fact, seeds are pretty relatively cheap anyway. I mean, you can buy lander seeds and everything, even though they seem expensive as like 30, 40k or however much they are. The amount of herbs you get off it completely negates it and gives you bonus profit, so yeah. Wouldn't really be worrying about that. Herb runs is pure profit. So you can do these herb runs in any order you want, it doesn't particularly matter. This is kind of like the first section of the daily route, I guess. It's quite simple, the farming route. Everything to do with farming gets done first because you do gain quite a lot of profit from it. So as soon as you've planted, resoiled, and just jump on to the next one. Another nice thing you can do while you're doing this big ass run is chuck on a Jack of Trades, as you'll actually gain XP for agility, magic, farming, mining, crafting. I'm sure I'm missing some as well, but yeah, you get quite a lot for it, so it's worth doing. Because you can complete your Jack of Trades while you're doing your daily run, which is actually kind of nice. As I always tend to forget about it, I don't know about you. So, move on to the next one. and then move on to the final. So, finally, you're on your last little farm herb run, I should say. So with this one, you simply pick your herbs, same as usual, you track your soil down and you replant. But you want to re-equip your weapon, put the secateurs and all the buckets with the leprechaun, because it's always nice if he keeps them. And then you want to teleport down to Pyramid Plunder with your Pharaoh Scepter. Now this part you're going to need to have completed the Desert Elite. So yeah, not many people are going to have that, but if you do, you can now get yourself 25 flasks pretty much, which is what I'm exactly going to do now. But I'm going to cut the mining part out because nobody wants to sit here and watch mining 25 of those because it takes long enough as is. Either way, at this point, if you can't do these 25 down here, then don't worry, because the next spot straight after this is over to Uglug, and you'll be mining the 50 over there. Now obviously you do need the mining level to actually mine redstone, or red sandstone, sorry, and ideally you'd also have the crafting level to turn them into flasks, because that's also extra profit. If not, it doesn't matter anyway, as long as you have the mining level. It's worth mining them every day anyway, because you do gain a fair chunk of crafting XP, and it mounts up surprisingly quickly, especially if you do it every single day. Mounts up like you wouldn't even realise. Either way, you can mine 25 red sandstone literally just outside this gate. So, job done. So I'm going to chop all these down, and I will be back once I am done. Catch you in a bit. There we go. So with all them done, head on over to Uglug. Uglug! And it's time to mine the remaining 50 sandstone. And the only requirement for these is quite literally the ability just to mine it. There's one thing worth mentioning here, is the shop directly opposite, literally the bird cooking the giant meat on the spit roast. She'll actually sell you meat, and you can buy, I think it's raw bird meat, and you can buy a bunch of other meat as well, and it's relatively cheap, although as of this exact moment there's very little profit in buying that and selling it, which is why I haven't bought it in this video. But it is worth mentioning because the meat in there is worth checking, and check the G prices, because typically you can make a small bit of profit. I'm going to skip through this mining. So once you've mined all your sandstone, turn them into flasks. Straightforward, nice and easy. No nonsense. But yeah, that bird there, it's one of the things to look out for. Check the G prices to compare and see how much profit it's actually worth. I mean, even if you still only gain a tiny amount of profit, it's worth buying simply because, well, we're here and we're right next to it. Let's be honest. So the next part after this is grabbing some rune essence, I can't remember what it's called, the wizard helm that allows you to teleport into all your runecraft in the wicked hood, as well as all your pouches. Fill them up with S, and it's time to go craft some runes. The alternative to this, if you can't be asked to go crafting, is literally take out the essence. But honestly, essence is so pathetically worthless in cash, you may as well just make stuff. I mean, it's only a 5-minute little thing just to make a couple of runes, and if you can make double mats, I think that's probably the most profitable one at the moment. Although as you can see, I'm making bloods. That's simply because I want bloods. But yeah, double nats will get you quite a bit more profit than making bloods, if I remember rightly. That's also dependent on G prices though, so you will have to check that too if you're watching this at a much later stage. But yeah, simple enough. You take all your essence out of your pouches, you do them, you do the essence in your inventory as well, you take all the essence out of your hood and you do all that. You've also got 2 teleports remaining, so grab some more essence, fill your pouches with them, teleport back here, make some more, then go back to a bank, get some more essence, fill your pouches, fill your inventory, come back out for the last time, and basically just use up all your teleports and take all the essence out of your hood in a nutshell. So the only thing left then is getting yourself some free runes. It's best to do the basic elements as you get 400 in comparison to getting like 20 of like deaths or bloods or something. So yeah, just go full elemental. Airs or fire is typically the most useful. You can always make others though, I'm not going to stop you, but they tend to be the most useful. So next up, ideally you'd have a Dragon's Amulet, which means completing the Darkmire quest, which not many people are going to have, I wouldn't have thought, but it does allow you to get one of the more profitable things, although it does take quite a while, so yeah, kind of up to you. Either way, if you've got a yak or a turtle, I'd highly recommend getting one of those out for this. Basically you want to head north of Birderot and head straight into Morden. This will require you to have completed Trades of Morden, but yeah, you'll also need Darkmire to teleport back and forward just to speed her up a little bit. Another thing worth mentioning is you also need the General Store Manager to be fully cured, like permanently cured, of the zombification, which requires the serum 208, something like that. It's not 207, it's the other one, which permanently cures. So you might have to mess about with shades to get one of those to heal this dude if you haven't done it already. Either way, what you're going to be doing is buying all of his olive oil. And now, surprisingly enough, not many people seem to know about this one. But this is actually pretty profitable. Basically these are used to basically make pyre logs and stuff, in a nutshell, to make cut the story short. That's what they're used for. So they're nice to mount up as well if you're going to be burning vampire bones and stuff like that. So yeah, there we go. It's quite literally just a pack of 4 again, 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 until you've bought every single one of them. And that's pretty much it. So you should have about 500 or more of those. Next up, you want to be heading up to Jatizo. You will need to have completed the Fremenic Isles quest, I believe it is, which allows you access to Jatizo and Natiznot. And this one is pretty straightforward, and it's most likely always going to be profitable, because it's kind of annoying to do, takes up quite a chunk of time, and no one really wants to do it. So yeah, we're heading to Jatiznot, and what we're going to be doing is buying yak hides. Some of you may have already guessed, but yeah, that's what we're doing. And the reason why we're buying these is there's a bird in Jatizo, just north of the King. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she sells 1,000 yak hides, and they're like 50 GP each. And in the GE, they're always higher, guaranteed higher. And they'll always sell because even if people are high level, everyone needs yaks. So yeah, there's always going to be demand for them. The other thing to mention is, depending on the prices of myth, you could always buy some myth and lob them in the GE as well. But yeah, that's a bit scraping the barrel there. So the bird you want to actually talk to for this is in this house just north of the King, and it's here. So you want to speak to this bird and literally say yes please, and there you go. Start buying bollock ton of yak hide. This I really do recommend bringing a beast of burden along with you, because it does take a while. So anything to speed her up will help. Yeah, nice and straightforward. It's a nice easy profit here. It's just big time consuming like, but if you're having a natter with your clanmates or your friends or anything, time will piss by anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's a nice and lazy way to do it, but there you go. At this point you should now have a bollock ton of oil, some herbs, all your yak hides, some coconuts. You'll have some of your more cellars too, as well as a bollock ton of flasks. You'll also have runes. So there we go. Now we're going somewhere. So the time consuming one's kind of done and dusted now. It's time to pick up your task system rewards now, pretty much. So first things first, you want to head to Catherby, and just south of the bank you have the general store blogie. Don't right click trade, literally left click talk to him and then buy some seaweed. You can buy 80, you can do this once a day, or it's once every 24 hours I think it is. You can also buy pineapples, so buy those off him too, because everything is going to be sold at the end and it will probably make you profit, and quite a bit of it. Next you want to head over to the flax field just to the west, and you want to talk to the bloke inside. And if you've done the Catherby tasks, or Camelot tasks, whichever one they're called, I think it's the Camelot tasks, he'll chuck you a bunch of flax, even. If you've done all of them, you'll get 200, which is always nice. Nice little bonus. A little tiny bit of extra cash for nothing. You can do that every day though, so it does kind of surprisingly mount up. Next place you want to go is over to Ardone, and we're going to be doing exactly the same thing. These are for the RD tasks. I've got task set guides on the channel in the RS tasks minigame playlist. It'll be one of those two. It'll be in the task list, I would have thought. All of them are there, so your easy, all the medium, all the hard, all the elites, all in one nice massive chunky run. So all the requirements and everything is listed. Nice easy walkthrough. Either way, you want to come over to Crompety and get yourself some free rune essence. This kind of goes hand in hand with the Wicked Hood, so it's worth doing these two every day. Next up, you want to head over to Karamja, or Brimhaven, and we're going to be talking to Del Monte. And same thing again, depending on which chunk of tasks you've done in Karamja, depends on what your rewards you're able to get. But you can get some pineapples as well as some apples from him. And both of these are worth doing, because pineapples are typically used for super combos. If not, then it'll be watermelon, so people will buy them. And then the apples are also used to look after some lower level trees and stuff, so they're worth getting too. So buy everything you possibly can from him. Another thing you can do is head over to the Tokal Kel and get yourself 8k free Tokal, if you've done all the requisites for it. I'm not going to do it in this one because it's kind of a side path thing and I never really bothered with it personally. Once you've done that, then head over to Yanil, talk to Bert, get yourself a chunk of sand for nothing. If you've done the secondary quest, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, sorry, that'll increase the amount of sand you get per day from Bert. It goes up to like 124 if I remember rightly, but for the life of me I cannot remember what the quest is called. Either way, once you've done that, you're moving on to the next one. These require the desert tasks to be done, I think up to the hard set maybe. And we're going to be talking to the weird old man as well as the rug merchant in the desert. And this will get a bunch of potato cacti from the weird old man, and from the rug merchants you'll gain a random lucky bag. And on average the lucky bags are only like 5k, but 5k is 5k and it's free. So BIQ, if I remember rightly, is the Calvite one. Another one, or another couple actually, daily things you can do worth mentioning, which I haven't done in here, simply because I've been trying to keep it all in my inventory and not kind of lose track of where I am. This one is buying every single water-filled vial in the game. There's a couple of places to do it too. You can get it in Ardy, in the Ardy General Store. You can run down to Shiloh, you can get a bollock ton there too. You used to be able to get it from Tavali. I'm not sure if you still can, because of the massive rework. I haven't even checked Tavali in that long, but you used to be able to buy a bollock ton more in there as well. You can also buy some odd bits as well, like coal and papyrus and stuff. They're slow selling, but you do make quite a bit of profit. So this is the wheel man, literally just outside the KQ layer. So talk to him, get a cacti. Once you've done that, run directly east until you run into the Rogue Merchant just outside Shanty Pass, and you can get yourself your lucky random prize. So once you've got your lucky prize and your cactus, next up you want to head over to Lumbee. And I'm sure a lot of you know this one, as it's pretty well known. It's nice and common. Everyone's kind of known about it ever since the quest came out. And that is the Recipe of Disaster. That's right, downstairs, look at the end of the chest and buying the ingredients out of it. You will need to check the price on some of them, because some of them aren't profitable, others are. So it's going to vary time to time, although generally cooking apples as well as chocolate tend to sell. Chocolate is normally an ingredient in a couple of herbal things as well as in actual making food and stuff. So they'll sell. The cooking apples are also used in kind of like the main pies people use, like summer pies and shit like that. So they'll also sell. You can also buy tomatoes and pots of cream and milk and stuff like that, and pots of butter and shit. They'll also sell because people are always making pies and things like that. So generally quite a lot of them do tend to sell. You will have to check the prices, which is the only thing. So once you've done that, you want to head up to Varrock and go to the battle staff shop and buy your daily battle staffs. This is reliant on the Varrock tasks. So yeah, you're going to have to do them to be able to buy these. One other thing worthy of note is the Recipe of Disaster little box where you buy all the food. You can get even more, and you can go to Port Sarim's store for that. They sell a bit of chocolate and shit. You can go to the Chef's Guild just west of Varrock, and you can also go up to the tree, the Grand Tree, and you can buy even more chocolate and stuff up there. So you can actually knock in quite a lot of extra stuff for nothing. So at the start of this, I had 549k. Keep that in mind. This is how much all of this junk and random crap I've got is worth. And this took me about an hour of just messing around doing my dailies and picking up free stuff. On top of that, I did have missed out stuff like buying Slayer unfinished bolts and things like that. There is quite a lot of extra little things you can buy from shops for near nothing and make a fair amount of profit for no problem whatsoever. And there you have it. Started with 549k and ended up with 2.1 mil. So all in all, bang! So that's it. Takes an hour, made 1.6 mil. I haven't even killed anything, and I literally just went to shops, and that isn't even everything you can do. You can make more money than that, and this guide is quite literally just randomly thought up. It's just some of the main ones. Depending on the prices and what's going on, you can streamline this and you can make maybe a mil profit, but instead of taking an hour, it'll take you 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So it's entirely up to you how far you want to go with it. It is all free money though, and you can do this every single day with no trouble whatsoever. You can also get your jacket trades and stuff done at the same time. So there you go. That is a very basic daily guide. That should give you a good idea of what you actually need to do and what you can do to get some free gear and free money. Money. So until next time people, I hope you all enjoyed and maybe learned something. Until next time, I will catch you all later. Have a good one.